Can LeBron still carry the Lakers?
Well, I wouldn't have quoted that GM if I didn't agree with him. Look, can he carry them? Yes, he can carry them. Like I can still carry my 17-year-old son. We're just not going to get very far, and I'm probably going to break down physically pretty soon, sooner rather than later. So, technically, yes. Honestly, I don't know that I would ever say that LeBron James carried these Lakers. I would say that he led them to a title in the bubble, but without a healthy Anthony Davis, we've seen what LeBron James is. We've seen when he doesn't have the necessary pieces around him where they've gone, which is not anywhere in particular. So, no, he can't carry them. I don't know that he ever has actually carried them. But certainly at this point, even leading them at this point is it's going to require having the right pieces around him.
Yeah, I don't think that he can carry these Lakers. Can he still carry a team? I mean, we can get into what the definition of carry is: be the best player on a team, be the biggest contributor scoring to a team that wins a title. I think LeBron still has the ability to win a title and be the best team on a title-winning team, just not this particular Lakers roster. And when you really are honest with yourself, Lakers fans, media, Lakers organization, going into this season, the expectations of a championship were maybe a little exaggerated. It is still LeBron James. It is still Anthony Davis. But this was the oldest roster in the league coming into the season. So they would have had to get out of the regular season completely healthy, which was a wish considering it was the oldest roster in the league. This is a young man's game, as we know. LeBron is playing amazing basketball individually right now, probably because he feels the pressure of the Lakers organization and this roster that he had a big part of putting together. But to me, what's happening with the Lakers always boils down to two things. One, wildly unrealistic expectations. And two, Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis is healthy right now, they are playing through everything that they're dealing with. I don't believe that they're playing this way. I run into Lakers fans all the time. We're out here in Los Angeles. Marcellus, I'm sure you get this as well. Yeah. What's going on with the Lakers? Why aren't we better? Who should we trade? Who should we fire? No one. This is what you signed up for. This is what you should expect. Anthony Davis is not a reliable player physically. I'm not putting this all on him, but he is their second star. If you look around the league, if this was any other team not named the Lakers and LeBron wasn't under the microscope that he's always under, would we even really be talking about them? Would this be the chaos that it is? I don't believe so. I think it's because the Lakers are a huge name and a huge brand with unrealistic expectations from the fans. LeBron James comes with a microscope, and Russell Westbrook did not add anything to this team that they expected. He's just being himself, and it's not fitting. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to your second star is not healthy right now. LeBron is fourth in the NBA in scoring this season. ID's missed 23 games this season. So can he lead a team to a championship? Yes, just not this Lakers team.
No, he can't lead them to a championship. No, he can't lead this team. No, he can't carry this team anywhere worthwhile. I know we all love LeBron James, so we always want to qualify like Joy did. Well, he can't lead this team. Well, what other team does he own, Joy? He owns this damn team, and I love running into Laker fans, and I'm trying to hide my joy, because when I run into them, I run away laughing like, boy, y'all signed up. Very well. Y'all signed up for this. Okay. Well, now let's start reading the fine print. Boy, they are sorry. Why are we talking about the Lakers right now? Because they just got smoked by the 11th seed, not even playing tournament worthy Pelicans. And on top of that, that team doesn't even have Zion. Look how sorry these Lakers are right now. And LeBron James is out there trying his damnedest to keep this team afloat, and it's not working. Here's a little fun fact for you when you go to the bar and order a double. The Lakers are 21-22 when LeBron James plays this year. They're a losing team with LeBron James, despite LeBron James out there scoring 29 points a game. Wait a minute. LeBron James, his field goal attempts are up. His minutes are up, the most he's played in 4 years. And he's out there averaging over 29 points a game. And they still this sorry? There's no way. Looking at the box score, you will see something that often happens with this team. Only like 3 players in double digits, because you can't even count Anthony Davis, to Joy's point. He's just not reliable. He's injury prone. So you look at their box score and you start to see LeBron James, okay, got 32 points. Then you look at it and you say, who else is getting double digits? Who else is out there impacting the game, having an effect? It's Carmelo Anthony and it's Russell Westbrook. Now, I don't know if Slick is older than me, but he certainly doesn't look the part. But I'm 47 years old. And one thing I've learned in all the households I've ever been in is the old person hates to get the remote. You know what? When I'm sitting here comfortable on my couch, LeBron, he didn't sign up for this. LeBron signed up for, hey, I just flipped the channel. Just call me when you need me. In case of emergency, break glass. He didn't sign up for all this, the 66th game in February, March. Like LeBron James is like, wait till you need me most, and I will be there in those moments. But it's not happening that way. They're actually trying to use LeBron James like you use your little cousin at the crib. Man, go do this, go do that, go fetch this, go get the remote here. And LeBron James is trying to do all that, and we see the results. So I'm sorry, man. I'm result-based. No, he can't carry these Lakers. Not anywhere worthwhile.
Yeah, Marcellus, is actually worse than that. They're asking LeBron to go get the remote and go get the drinks, and he can't. He can get his drink, and he can, he can set things up. He can get his blanket, but he can't do it for anybody else. And that's where I'm going to push back on two fronts, Joy, with your take. Number one, even when Anthony Davis has been available, they've been a 500 team. That's actually better than they are right now. But the fact is, it's not as if they take some huge leap when he is available. The other part with LeBron James is, and Marcellus pointed it out, like he is getting amazing numbers for someone who's 37 years old. But we always have that qualifier for someone 37 years old. Yep. It's not as if it's just he's doing it and it's amazing, period, which is the way we always talked about LeBron James. I think the most telling factor is that his plus minus for the first time in his career since he was a rookie is underwater. That means that the Lakers give up more points than they score when LeBron James is on the floor. And you know who has a better plus minus, who contributes more to the bottom line than LeBron James right now? That would be Carmelo Anthony. That would be Taylor Horton Tucker. That would be, I dare say it, Austin Reeves. All of them have better plus minuses than LeBron James right now. So the bottom line for him is that for all of the individual numbers that he's getting, he's not producing a positive effect. And I don't believe it's because of this team. I believe it's where LeBron James is right now. The beauty and the greatness of LeBron James for so many years was that he not only got his numbers, but he got other people's numbers. He was the playmaker. He could make defensive stops. Like, he could do all the little things. That's why I once upon a time called him the super glue guy, because he could bring all these disparate pieces together and make them better. I don't see that LeBron James right now. I don't see that playmaker, and they desperately need that. They need his defense, and they need his playmaking. The one thing they really don't need is his scoring. That's probably the least thing that they need. But it's the one thing that he can still do. And so he's doing it to the best of his ability. So when I put it all together, LeBron James is playing great, but he's playing great in a certain silo because it's the only silo that he can operate now and still be great.
Yeah, but that's where the Lakers are, though. Like, that's what this roster demands from him. And it really shouldn't be too surprising. Again, I maintain that the Lakers are a victim of unrealistic expectations. Expectations breed disappointments. If you came into this season really evaluating the roster that they had, really evaluating the liability of Anthony Davis being injured, really being honest about what you expect from Russell Westbrook, which many of us, myself included, were a victim of. I love Russell Westbrook. Like, I love his game. I love watching him. He's exciting. He's a fun player. He plays with a lot of passion. But he's not a winning player. And he's not doing anything with the Lakers that he hasn't done his whole career. So what they did was bring in players like Russell Westbrook, like Anthony Davis, who have a history of being a certain type of player, an injury history, or not being a winning player, and bringing them, expecting them to be something other than what they are. It's a fit problem with the Lakers. They have no identity.
Joy.
And
get a
but who's Who set those expectations?
Here we go.
Well, that's what
Who
it
was
is.
the
This is
one
what
who
you
put the
signed up
tweet out
for.
there when
You
we were
got a
all critical?
championship.
We were all critical of the age. I called them the LAARP Lakers. Like, LeBron was the one, hey, y'all, keep that same energy. You say we're too old. You say we can't get it done.
There's
like,
plenty
watch
of
when we
blame.
make it happen.
There's plenty of blame to go around, but we all know this. When LeBron James is on your team, you're going to be under a specific microscope. And when you're in Los Angeles, that microscope is going to get even tighter. And with the Lakers, no offense to the Clippers, that is going to get even tighter. Sorry, it just is what it is. You know what's the interesting thing about the Clippers?
Let's go.
The interesting thing about the Clippers
Oh,
is the
it's
Clippers are
interesting now, huh?
kind of in the same situation as the Lakers. The only difference with the Clippers and the Lakers is that you would probably take the Clippers roster after you take out the two stars. You would probably take the Clippers roster over the Lakers roster. And their two stars are injured, and you don't see any panic. You don't see any fires and things running around with the Clippers and the Lakers.
Okay, let's see.
Now, it's the Clippers, so no offense, Marcellus, but the expectations are never going to be what they are for the Lakers.
Offend me.
It's the truth. It's the truth. But like you're looking at these two teams in the same city and completely different situations. Now, LeBron James demands that kind of attention, and that's why you're in this situation. But there's plenty of blame to go around. You can talk about who put together the roster. You can talk about LeBron wanting Westbrook. You can talk about how everyone's played, Anthony Davis not being healthy, Westbrook not being a good fit, the expectations, what's going on in the front office. You can talk about all of that. There's enough blame to go around. But at the end of the day, just really be honest about the Lakers. The Lakers need a little bit of accountability from everyone and to just really face what it is this season. Rather than trying to push forward with what are we going to do? Are we going to trade LeBron? Are we going to trade AD? What's going to happen with Russell Westbrook? How can we change the lineup? You didn't do anything at the trade deadline. So this is what it is. And everyone contributed to this roster being what it is.
Well, look, it's pretty obvious that it is a fit issue in terms of Russell Westbrook, who was brought onto this team to go get the remote. Let's just be real. Anthony Davis, and they know that his availability has always been questionable. And LeBron James is just at an age where you don't want to exhaust him. And Russell Westbrook, he's getting something. I don't know if it's the remote, and I don't know if it's turning the TV on, but it's interesting to watch him because he puts up numbers, including turnovers, but he certainly is doing something, running around Tasmanian devil style, something. He kicking up dust, but I don't know if he's getting the remote.
Marcellus, he's getting the remote and he's getting the drinks. He's just spilling them and dropping them on the way back to the couch.
That's what it is. Oh, man, it's crazy to watch this because LeBron James is supposed to be the nitrous right now. Even though we look at LeBron James as the engine of any team, but in the fast and furious kind of mindset, he's supposed to be the nitrous. When, okay, get the team right to where it's supposed to go, hit the button, LeBron, and then he takes you over the hump. He takes you to a place where you're a true contender. But this team is not even doing its part as a collective. And we can't blame Frank Vogel. Let's stop. Frank Vogel may be inflated in terms of reputation because he got LeBron James and he won a championship. So let's be real about it. We don't know how great a coach, how good a coach he may be. But when you got LeBron James, expectations are absurd. We can't blame Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka is sitting there like, look, bruh, I come to this franchise when it's in disarray. They have infighting all at the ownership level, all the brothers and sisters beefing. Should we sell it? Should we keep it? What shall we do? Rob Pelinka comes and steadies this ship, has his issues with Magic Johnson, whatever you want to call that situation, what it was. And then all of a sudden, he has Kobe Bryant as his client. Kobe Bryant respectfully passes away, rest in peace. And then he sits there and inherits a LeBron James who comes in and says, I want A, B, and C. Well, then Rob Pelinka's like, all right, well, go ahead. And now that we're giving that A, B, and C a D or F grade, we go and look at Rob Pelinka like it's his fault, it's his problem. He looking at LeBron like, you made this mess, go ahead and fix it. Go ahead and clean it up. So the way out for the Lakers is simple. They got to trade Anthony Davis. Ain't nobody stupid. LeBron's not going anywhere. LeBron shouldn't go anywhere. LeBron is still their best player and at least most available player. Somehow, some way, they got to keep the value of Anthony Davis high, let him come back, contribute, and then since he's young and still a tremendous player when healthy, Anthony Davis has to go. What you say about that, Slick?
I say that even if you trade Anthony Davis, you're still going to. This is the distinction, and this is in answering the question about LeBron James carrying, leading, whatever verb we want to use. LeBron James is now at a point in his career where, to your point, I think you mentioned like Russ Westbrook was supposed to get them to the finish line, and then LeBron James could close the deal.
Yeah.
I believe he's still capable of that, and in fact, I think he's probably as good of a closer now as he ever has been because he has that mid-range on lockdown, and he's just his scoring ability is as varied and efficient as I've ever seen it. The distinction is he can't do all those other things. So the question will be, can you go get somebody else at this point who can do those other things? You don't need just a Robin. You don't need just a co-star. Like, you need to reverse these roles and have LeBron James as the Robin, as the closer, as the Kyrie Irving to LeBron James in Cleveland. That's what needs to happen at this point. So the idea of carrying or leading, and the question is going to be whether LeBron James is willing to accept that. I feel as if then this anonymous GM that I spoke to also said something else. He said the championship that, and I'm paraphrasing, the championship that LeBron really is after at this point is playing with Bronny. And what I know about any time, and I think Marcellus, you've said it, I know Acho has said it, like, you got your primary goal and you got your secondary goal. Well, your primary goal is going to take precedent over everything else. And when it comes to winning championships or doing anything at the professional level, it's awfully hard to serve two masters. It's awfully hard to get two things done and do them at an absolute high level.
Yeah.
Am I not off?
No, you're not off. Some people were looking at that championship like, is that repeatable? Can you replicate that experience? And you got to think.
Well, that's where we are now.
That's where we are. Anthony Davis healthy,
it's not
you got a chance.
the same roster they had there. Anthony Davis is not healthy. So again, what are the Lakers going to do moving forward? It feels like this year you're going to have to make it work with what you got, and it feels pretty toxic. And there are a lot of things happening that are creating that are outside. Obviously, what's happening on the court is not looking great. But I also believe that all of the mudslinging, all the it's this and he has more power than Kobe and Westbrook and all these sources and stories are just elevating a situation with the Lakers that is pretty straightforward. You don't have Anthony Davis healthy. He was supposed to be the one that was going to take the mantle, that Robin that you speak of, Ric Bucher. He was supposed to be that. We know he's not that. So evaluate what you have, simmer things down, take a little bit of the fire off the pot here, have some real public conversations about where you are and what the strategy is moving forward. I think that would help the Lakers tremendously.
Well, they need to listen to your advice because I'm watching videos of LeBron James chirping at people on court side now. I'm watching Trevor Ariza. What's up, Westchester? What's up, West Side? He over there tripping on people on the sideline. Russell Westbrook, that's what he do. But the point is, they starting to leak. That check engine light starting to come on because they running hot right now. And you can see the infighting, whether it's within the organization or even within their own fan base. It's a little sad to watch. My last point is this. Slick Rick brought me to a place of deviation. I learned this at the Air Force Academy one time. I went up there and talked to all the troops there. Learned one thing. They were talking about a degree of separation. And I'm going to relate this to what we're talking about. When we all know we got two eyes, but it's supposed to be focused on one thing, right? All right, so here we go. With your two eyes, imagine you have split vision. And that's what LeBron's going through right now. Look, I want to go out there and win championships, catch Jordan, even though I can't catch Jordan. And winning 4 like I got, this is as close as I got to get. Now I got to do other things to catch Michael Jordan. Because championships alone, good luck in that pursuit. So here's where LeBron is. And they taught me this at the Air Force Academy. Imagine you're a fighter plane, and they say 1 degree of deviation, which doesn't look like that much. The nose goes from here to there. But they said now you need to add the duration of you being 1 degree off, eye of the tiger, and the distance in which that 1 degree is traveling. And next thing you know, where you're supposed to go, bullseye destination, you end up way over here. I don't know. The pilot of LeBron right now, trying to carry this Lakers team. We all know he's 1 deviation off. Came to L.A. because it was more than basketball. Now he's talking about playing with his son when he's playing with grown men right now, skipping over this process. Be careful, LeBron. I don't know where you're going to land, big dog, with that type of split vision.